One of the shots we see players struggling with the most is the backhand. Now it makes sense, it's just not as easy to hit the ball leading with the back of your hand as it is the front of your hand. So I can understand why people have more trouble on the backhand side. And that's why today we're going to go into 5 big mistakes that we see on the backhand side at the recreational level predominantly, but really these tips can help you amp up your backhand at every level. I'm Nicole Havlicek, this is Primetime Pickleball. Let's dive into today's topic.
Missing one of our videos is like missing an easy put-away. Don't let that be you. Subscribe now.
To be clear, today we're talking about the one-handed backhand drive ground stroke. One-handed backhand flat or with a little bit of topspin, the same concepts apply. Before we dive into these mistakes, I want to clarify one non-negotiable that needs to be present on your one-handed backhand drive, and that is an in-front contact. So you need to be sure to turn early enough, get your feet set well behind the ball, arrive in time, and get that contact out in front. Unlike on the forehand where you can get away with a late contact from time to time. I don't recommend hitting it with a late contact, but if you do get there late, when you're desperate, you can still hit a pretty good shot with your forehand and a late contact. With a one-handed backhand, it's very difficult, virtually impossible. If you're going to be late, you're probably going to have to switch up to a slice because with a slice, you can have a bit of a later contact. But if you want to hit a strong one-handed backhand drive, non-negotiable, contact well out in front. Now that we have that squared away, let's dive into the big mistakes that I have for you today and how to fix them. Mistake number 1 is what I often refer to as the slapper, and basically it's when you're hitting your backhand and it looks just like a backhand slap. You're using mostly wrist, no body, you're not letting it swing from your shoulder. You're very limited in terms of what you can do with the shot when you're just slapping it in this way, with control as well as with power. You really want to make sure to get a good strong shoulder turn, get your hitting side shoulder all the way under your chin so that you can then uncoil into the shot starting from your legs and using your body to hit that shot and not just your wrist and forearm. That is one of the key things you're going to want to work on immediately if slapping is something that you do. As helpful as we think the tips we're sharing in today's video are, there's more to achieving success on the doubles court. Want a complete A to Z step-by-step blueprint for playing winning doubles pickleball? Check out our dominating doubles system today. Go to doublesystem.com to learn all about it. Mistake number 2 is having separation between your arm and your body. Now I see symptoms of this problem popping up in various ways, such as instead of your elbow pointing down, it's pointed forward. You might have your paddle down and against your body. You're not turned enough, and whatever other thing you're doing that is causing your arm to be away from your body. You want your bicep really tucked up right against your body. Again, your chin's over your shoulder, your paddle's high in the back so that you're nice and coiled. You're then going to use your uncoiling to swing that arm forward. It's going to separate from your body heading into contact, and you'll finish nice and loose over to the off side. You really need to learn to use your arm as a whip on your ground strokes on both sides. And here we're talking about the backhand, so you're going to have it nice and tucked up against you so that you can turn and uncoil and whip it around. That's what's really going to allow you to have a powerful backhand that you can ramp up or ramp down in speed as you wish, simply by controlling your uncoil. So be sure to get that arm tucked up against your body as you're turning and preparing for that backhand. If you're enjoying this video, please go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, and also hit that notification bell icon so you can be notified anytime we release a new video. And that brings us to mistake number 3, which is not dropping your paddle head enough. Now, what do I mean by this? You want to start with your tip up when you take your paddle back to initiate the shot, and then you want to let it tip down and get under the ball. So get your paddle head under the ball and come up and through. Now, depending on how flat you want to hit it or with how much topspin you want to hit it, you'll come down a bit more or a bit less. You'll get down further if you're going to hit some more topspin, and a bit less if you're going to drive it flat, but you're always fighting gravity a little bit, right? And you do need to typically hit somewhat up on that shot because the ball doesn't tend to bounce very high either. And in addition to that, you do want to let your wrist drop down some so that you can use your forearm and get a little bit of leverage on the end of the whip. Remember how I said you need to learn how to use your arm like a whip on your backhand side. Well, letting that paddle head drop will allow you to engage your forearm at the very end of that shot to give it a little extra as you come through contact. Not a ton, but some. You need to really be able to let your arm fly, and that is a part of it at the very end of the shot. So start with your tip up, let the paddle head drop under, and then come through and finish around. Another issue that often comes up if you don't drop your paddle head down enough is that you're going to come across the ball and end up hitting a side spin when you didn't mean to. So your drive is going to come off very side spinny. So if you do find that, it probably means that you're not dropping your paddle head down enough. So most of the time you are going to want to get your paddle head dropping a little bit under the wrist. If you find you're not doing that, definitely take a look at this. This is a very common problem on the backhand side, and I see it being overlooked often. You'll definitely want to take a look at this, see if you're doing it, and clean it up if you are. Mistake number 4 is not using your non-dominant arm correctly. So first and foremost, it is helpful to use your non-dominant hand as you set the paddle back, particularly on your one-handed backhand ground stroke. You want to have that offhand there to help you really get nice and turned for the set. And then in addition to that, when you drop into the swing and you're coming through, you want to send that non-dominant arm back, acting as a counterbalance so that it can really let your dominant hitting arm fly through the shot. If you let the two come through together, your dominant arm is not going to be able to travel at top speed, significantly reducing your power potential. Depending on how much you're wanting to let your arm fly on any particular backhand, you're going to need a little bit more or a little bit less of a counterbalance. Use your non-dominant hand and arm to set the paddle at the beginning of the stroke, and then use it as a counterbalance during the swing to maximize your power. If you watch really good players that with a strong one-handed backhand, you'll see that across the board they're using their non-dominant arm effectively to help them hit the best shot possible. And that brings us to mistake number 5, which is pulling your eyes off of contact too soon. This is a very common mistake. Players rush to look at where their ball is going as opposed to really completing their shot. If you lift up your head too soon, it pulls up your torso and brings your swing up a little bit higher than you meant to, and it can cause you to sail the ball longer than you meant to. You're also increasing the opportunity and likelihood of having shaky, off-center, off the sweet spot contacts. You really want to commit to keeping your eyes on the ball just a fraction longer. It'll feel like a long time, but it's really only a fraction longer. Keep that chin down, the eyes on contact, through contact before you pull up to look over to the other side and finish your shot. I see this problem so very often. You really want to keep those eyes down a bit longer. It will help stabilize your entire shot. And you'll hit much better backhands much more consistently as a result. The court is not moving, the ball is moving. So keep your head down and your eyes on that contact longer. It will really help your shot. These 5 backhand mistakes are certainly not the only mistakes that could be made on the backhand side, but they are 5 very big ones. So if you see yourself in any one of these mistakes, you'll want to take steps to correct that immediately, and your backhand will jump to an entirely new level. If you see yourself in more than one and take steps to correct it, well, your backhand will be unrecognizable compared to what it is now. It'll just be so much better. When you improve and stabilize your backhand side, you'll just be a much happier and better player. And the chances of that resulting in more wins is high. A big thank you to Taylor Bryant for his help with this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share. For more pro player pickleball tips, techniques, strategies, and more on how to take your game to the next level, please visit primetimepickleball.com. You'll find a clickable direct link in the video description below. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one, and until then, happy pickling.